Cyril Gane is going to get absolutely smoked by Tom Aspinall in the rematch. Look, first things first, I was one of the very few people that predicted Cyril Gane would win. I had him winning 48-47 by decision. And look, I'm not taking a victory lap. He didn't win the fight, but he was looking good. And everything I said was coming to fruition prior to the double eye poke, which I'll talk about in a second, my thoughts on that. But look, Cyril Gane had no pressure. Nobody expected him to win. He's already lost in title fights to Jones. He's already lost to Francis. He's already lost to the elite of the elite. He beats up on the kind of shorter, chubbier fighters, but when there's someone that's his size that has power, he can't handle them. So no one was really taking him serious. But my thought process was Aspinall has a lot of pressure, and if he cannot get him with a big shot early, when we get into the second, the third, the fourth, the fifth, look, Gane is a rangy cardio kickboxer. And straight up kickboxing, I think Gane's probably better. You know, in one exchange, if we're going all out in one exchange, I think Aspinall's better. He's got more power. He's able to find those shots better. But over a course of a 5-round fight, I think Gane was going to outstrike him. And look, that's kind of what it looked like in the first round. I don't think it was a domination. You know, some people were saying that Aspinall quit because no, it was a close first round. I would have given it to Gane if it ended at the eye poke. But it felt like it was going to go back and forth. You know, maybe Aspinall can pick off a round with wrestling. Maybe Aspinall wobbles him in another round. But I felt a 48-47 decision was pretty legit. Now, the reason why I'm flipping for the second fight is there's a lot of pressure on Gane now. Number one, he completely cooked the card. It was a weak card to begin with. He double eye pokes him in a heavyweight fight and just ends the fight. And I don't blame Aspinall at all. Look, people are saying, oh, well, he could have fought through. Sure. Did he have some vision? I'm sure he could see something. He wasn't completely blind as a bat. But look, you're not the challenger. You know, if you're the challenger, it's one thing. You know, you're a short notice challenger and your ankle hurts. Okay, yeah, fight through it, whatever. You're going to get a big payday. If you're the champion and you got brutally eye poked, I mean, I don't blame him for sitting out. You know, it's cool when guys want to fight through, you know, a groin shot or an eye poke or something, illegal move, but I don't think he's under any obligation to fight through that. So I don't blame Aspinall for that at all. And I do think a no contest was the correct decision. A lot of people are talking about a disqualification, and I do understand that under the condition that you're losing the fight. In my opinion, Gane was winning the fight, so it's tough to... And some people are going to disagree. Some people are going to say that's how that camp is being trained. That's how his teammates do it as well. And, you know, he's got that bad tendency. But I find it tough to believe in a fight that you are, in my opinion, winning or at least competitive in. And it's not like he had damage. You know, he wasn't about to go out and he's just doing anything. You know, if you're losing or if you're in a balanced spot and you do a groin strike or an eye poke, yeah, disqualify him. But I find it tough to disqualify him, you know. I don't like it, so I agree with the no contest. But I think the second fight's going to be different because Aspinall is going to be motivated. If there's any degree of, you know, him kind of sleepwalking into this, expecting he's just the best thing ever. You know, a lot of these guys, when they, and I'm worried about this with Ilie Topuria, he's winning so easily, so quickly against everybody that he might slip up and lose to a Justin Gaethje, as crazy as it sounds. You know, these guys are very talented. You know, even a Justin Gaethje, even a Cyril Gane, these guys are not as good as Tom Aspinall. They're not as good as Ilia, but if you don't take them serious and they don't have any pressure and you don't get them out early, that's when it starts to get tricky because they've got more experience than you, they're rangier than you, maybe they're better in the cardio, like they can land more strikes, not as meaningful strikes, but when you look at the end tally and you're more of a, you know, you land a couple shots and knock somebody out or wobble them or have a big moment. If you can't find that early, it starts to dissipate. You get less explosive, and that's where it gets into a territory where you've never been before. So I think Gane is going to get knocked out in the first round in the rematch. I think it's a completely different vibe, and a lot of the fighting is about the vibe. You know, how both fighters are feeling going into the camp. It's not as simple as just the X's and O's. You know, a lot of people, I had Gane plus 300. And obviously didn't hit because the fight was a no contest. But a lot of people are probably it's going to be Aspinall minus 150, Aspinall minus 130. Pretty close to 50-50. I don't think so. I'm going to take Aspinall around 1K.